Your phone buzzes. You are not expecting anything important. You check it anyway. Nothing. An ad for socks. And yet, 10 minutes later, you check again. This is not a willpower problem. This is not a generational failure. This is a 2 million-year-old survival circuit, wearing your hoodie, using your thumb. Somewhere inside your skull, a tiny committee of neurons is convinced that a notification might be a saber-toothed cat. It is wrong almost every time. But it has been wrong in this exact way since before your species had a word for wrong. Let's start with the pigeons, because the pigeons explain everything, not government. In the 1950s, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner ran an experiment that should have made him famous for the right reasons, and instead made him famous for something slightly unsettling. He put pigeons in boxes. Each box had a lever. Peck the lever, get a food pellet. Simple enough. But Skinner didn't stop there. He started changing the rules. Sometimes the lever gave food every time. Sometimes it gave food only occasionally, on no fixed schedule at all. And here is the part that should feel uncomfortably familiar. The pigeons on the unpredictable schedule pecked harder, faster, and more obsessively than the pigeons who got a reward every single time. Predictable reward creates satisfaction. Unpredictable reward creates obsession. Your phone calls it pull to refresh. You are, in this analogy, the pigeon. The lever is your lock screen. And nobody designed your brain to resist a slot machine that fits in your pocket, because your brain wasn't built for slot machines. It was built for berry bushes. Here's what that means. Imagine you're a hunter-gatherer 40,000 years ago, foraging in a patch of shrubs. Some bushes are empty, some bushes are loaded. You don't know which is which until you check. A brain that gets a small dopamine hit every time it checks something uncertain and checks again was a brain that found more food, more water, more safety. It survived. It reproduced. You are its descendant. A neuroscientist named Wolfram Schultz spent decades studying exactly this mechanism in the brain, watching dopamine neurons fire not when a reward arrives, but in the moment right before you find out whether it will. The anticipation is the drug. The notification hasn't even loaded yet, and your brain is already throwing a small party in case it's good news, which means your phone isn't hijacking a bug in your brain. It's feeding a feature that used to keep you alive. A British anthropologist named Robin Dunbar spent years studying primate social groups and noticed something strange. Apes spend an enormous chunk of their day grooming one another, not for hygiene, for information. Who's allied with whom? Who's angry? Who might have your back if things go sideways with the group next door? Dunbar's theory is that as human social groups grew too large for physical grooming to keep everyone updated, we invented something more efficient. We call it gossip. You call it group chat. Every time you refresh your feed, some very old part of your brain believes it is grooming the tribe, checking who's still your ally, checking who said something about you. It is not checking Instagram. It is checking whether it is safe to leave the cave. 2 a.m, lit only by a screen, rereading a text that says K. Your phone did not invent this anxiety. It just figured out how to bottle it, mass-produce it, and deliver it every 45 seconds. Checking your environment compulsively was correct behavior. The people who didn't check, who got too relaxed, too distracted, too comfortable ignoring the rustle in the grass, those people generally didn't get to pass on their genes. So the same instinct that once meant look up from the fire, something moved, now means look down at the screen, something moved. Same wiring, wildly different stakes. One version of this instinct kept your ancestors from becoming a leopard's lunch. The other version has, at some point, made you read the same unread text message 4 separate times without opening it, like it might say something different the 5th time. It won't. You already know this. Check it anyway. You're not losing a fight against yourself. You're losing a fight against a $100 billion industry that hired actual behavioral scientists to study Skinner's pigeons and build something far more compelling than a lever, which is, honestly, a much better excuse than I just have no self-control. That flicker of anxiety before you check your phone, that's not information about the world. That's a smoke alarm going off because you made toast. The system is working exactly as designed. turning off notifications so the phone stops behaving like a slot machine and starts behaving like a tool you pick up on purpose. Forever 40,000 years behind the century it's living in. Your phone buzzes. You are not expecting anything important. You check it anyway. And somewhere behind your eyes, a caveman nods, satisfied, certain he just kept you safe from a sock advertisement. And that's the tour from a hunter-gatherer scanning the bushes for danger to you scanning your lock screen for socks. Same brain, way lower stakes. If this saved you from one unnecessary phone check, subscribe. Your inner caveman will thank you. See you next time.